is keeping the place up. Can you say a few words
Okay.
with Jeff?
Sure.
Right over here.
Who's Jeff? You're
Right there.
Jeff. My interest here is to help people understand the truth. Okay, and the reason why the Lord's brought me here is to help people understand the truth, and that would also mean the spiritual side of the church as well, and what we believe happened within the confines of our church. And what Vernon Howell or David Koresh was asked to do was basically to be an example to the world, okay? Because this was seen worldwide. And it was to show that God was in judgment and that he was going to judge anyone that claims to have the mind of God, claims to sit in the seat of God, and claims to be God. Any human being. Okay? And I believe Vernon Howell knew that, because when I addressed it and brought it up to his attention in 1984 before the elders of the church, he agreed with me, because it was prophesied by Ellen White. It was also prophesied by Victor Hoddeth and even Ben Roden, that someone was going to come within the Advent movement that was going to claim to try to make Christ and God a non-entity. These are the very words Ellen White said. Make him a non-entity, and then claim to be God in the flesh. And when I pointed to Vernon and I said, "You're the man that's bringing this to fruition, aren't you?" And he got up and put his arm around me and he said, "This brother's teaching truth." So the man agreed with me. I know that everyone has their own opinion as to what's going on, but I believe the Lord has stuck me in this place. I'm here taking care of it. A lot of people think that I have, negative feelings towards, Vernon and what he did. I'm just trying to show people that God is a man of his word, and that when he says he's going to judge and bring a slaughter, which is described in Ezekiel 9, chapter 9, a slaughter of men, women, maids, and little children. And 5 men are going to execute that judgment. The Delta Force was here. There were 5 officers of the Delta Force here. And they have license to kill. They can slaughter, they can, assassinate, they can do whatever they want, and they're not held accountable for it. And I believe that God allowed this whole thing to happen because it had to happen the way it was prophesied. You understand? It has to be, if God's true, then his prophecies come true the way he says they're going to come true. So I believe this whole thing was orchestrated. Yes, the government came in here. Yes, they had no right to do what they did. Vernon Howell, as David Koresh, had no right to do what he did either in breaking the law of God. And that's what he was being judged by, is the law of God, and so is the government. So I believe, I kind of sound like I'm on a broken record, but unless people realize what this was all about, and that it was a judgment. God is in judgment, and he judged us first. And Vernon knew, David Koresh knew, that he was going to receive God's judgment. He asked the elders of the church, "Will you show me where I'm wrong in the scriptures here? Will you show me where I have a right to take your daughters and your wives?" You see? "Will you show me from the scriptures?" They didn't show him. Well, I was the one that was standing up, and protesting it all these years. And I believe when he realized that there was somebody that understood what he was called to do, and he put his arm around me and he said, "This man's teaching the truth," I believe he was very sincere, because he knew that it was going to be explained by somebody that understood it. And he even told his own people, someone's going to come that has the same spirit that I have. Okay? And when he comes, he's going to teach you the truth about what happened. and you're going to forget half of what I've taught you. But this man is going to set the record straight. Okay? Now, he didn't point out who it was because the Spirit of God has to do that. The Spirit of God had to show me that what Vernon Howell was doing was not of the devil, it was orchestrated by God to show that he was... See, Christ took on sin 2,000 years ago. Okay? And Vernon taught that he was going to take on sin as the leader of an organization that was going to basically crucify Christ afresh. And we've all crucified Christ afresh by our own sin individually. But a corporate body, an organized, an organization that's claiming to be the Church of God, you understand what I'm saying? Has to take on the guilt and the sin of every organized denomination, every organized ministry out there, in order for that sin to be paid for as well. And that's what Vernon Howell was believing he was doing. Why did he sin? Why did he openly do it? Because he knew that the wages of sin is death, and he knew he was going to die. He knew he was going to die for all this. But the way the government did it, well, they had no right to do it that way either, you see. So it was not only a judgment on the church, on this group, and they knew that they were going